Hi everybody, this is Bruce Falli and welcome to Chemistry Excel. So this is a little different for everybody where we are talking not quite face-to-face, but talking somewhere or another. So it's nice to see you, nice to see you're interested in your students' chemistry education, because I know I sure am. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, my education, speaking of which, I went to Indiana University in Bloomington. I had a BA in molecular biology, and I was on the pre-med route and decided I didn't like taking classes as much anymore. And a lot of people have a teacher who inspired them and made them love teaching. I didn't. I had a comedian who taught me about history and made me laugh at the same time. Tim Wilson was the guy's name. He was, rest in peace. And I thought I could do the same thing with something harder than history, which would be science. So biology was what I liked best as a student, so I went that route. Then after a few years of teaching, I got my master's in Cambridge College, and then started on a PhD at the Illinois Institute of Technology and Science and Education, where my passion was technology and education and giving answers to worksheets and where that helps kids learn. Teaching background. So I started right out of Indiana University at Gavitt Junior Senior High School, where I taught at the high school. I taught biology, chemistry, physics, and math, and I was a proud gladiator. Gavitt Junior Senior High School is in Hammond, Indiana, and that was an inner city school, and I did a lot of good work there, I think, and the needs are very different than at LT, but I felt like I met them well, and let me see student that I hadn't encountered before, so it's good to see more types of kids. Then I started at Lyons Township High School. I know I have Moraine Valley in the middle there. I don't work at Moraine Valley anymore, but I started at LT, and during my time at LT, I taught at Moraine Valley Community College, which I thought was a great preface for later teaching AP Chemistry at LT, which I've done since I think 2004. Moraine Valley was nice because I got to see how a different group of teachers would teach chemistry, both the lecture and the lab. So I was a Moraine Valley Cyclone for a little while, and a gladiator, and now I'm a proud Lion. So at LT, I teach chemistry, AP Chemistry, and 2 years ago, I had my midlife crisis of physics. Nobody wanted to teach physics for a 6th assignment, and I stepped up and did it. It was fun to do something I hadn't done for a while. So I talk about how we should embrace the struggle and challenge ourselves and do things that are beyond our comfort zone. And I did that, and it was a blast, which kind of hits my philosophy of difficult things you can take pride in accomplishing. A little bit about me, personal information and interest. I'm married with twin daughters who are in 8th grade attending school in person, unlike what we're doing here. So far, so good on that end. I'm an externally motivated person, so I feed off of others, so I'll grab onto their interests. So my one daughter loves softball. I coach her team. I learned more about softball in the past 3 or 4 years than I thought I ever would. My other daughter was interested in Hamilton, so I've done all the Hamilton stuff too. I had a student tell me about Stranger Things, which really creeped me out because where I grew up in Indiana was very much like the town in Stranger Things. I would ride my bike 3 or 4 miles to go to my closest friend's house through a forest. And you would hear things and you just hope it's not a big deal, but if it was something else, you wouldn't be that surprised. So that's funny. And the weirdest thing that I picked up on was my wife 3 or 4 years ago was a couponer. She wrote the couponing websites, and she would send me with a list of coupons, and I would have 15 things and get paid like 50 cents. They actually paid me money once doing that. My wife Jen said that those were the good old days of couponing. You can't do that anymore. After the TV shows, the coupons kind of they fizzled on the way they let you do stuff. So that was kind of sad, but fun while it lasted. All right, what do I do at LT? I obviously teach chemistry. But I love the environment of a high school where you get to be well-rounded and be interested in a bunch of different things. So before my kids got old enough to play their sports, I coached lacrosse for 10 years. It was a blast. I love it. I love teaching kids, and I love teaching them sports as well. So most of the kids in lacrosse hadn't played before. We had maybe 15, 20% that had played before, so we get to start from scratch, and they get to learn the LT way of doing things, and it was awesome when we were good. I'd never played lacrosse before. Again, give me a challenge, I'll step up. And I still remember beating a professional lacrosse player. His team he was coaching some other school, he's a professional lacrosse player. I'd never played the game. My lacrosse skills are weak, but my lacrosse coaching talent, developed by Eric Nuss, one of the lacrosse coaches, we're strong. So that's fine. Right now, what I do is I coach Science Olympiad. So I love to push kids in a competitive way to learn even more about science and engineering. And that's super fun. If your kid likes it or doesn't know what they want to do, but know they like science, there's an event that will push them farther than even the chemistry curriculum. I still do intramural weightlifting, and I love curriculum. So how do we make something more fun? How do we make it go faster? How do we make it more interesting? How can we take something that we didn't know about with a good application? Course goals. We want to change the mindset about science courses in general and chemistry in particular. That's my goal. I want people to think chemistry is interesting, good, smart, good. I want to maximize your students' grade. Now, this is a controversial kind of idea. I think if I maximize your grade, it maximizes their learning. Why? Because their grade represents their learning. I know it's a breakthrough kind of idea, but I think a lot of you might agree with me. But that's true. I really want to maximize their learning, but the grade is really maximized. I want to become confident that new and challenging material can be mastered. And I hope you can tell I live my life that way. Coach lacrosse I'd never seen before. Taught physics that I hadn't taught for a while and had a great summer learning how to do it the time I had. And then my educational philosophy is to convert pretty smart to almost genius. Your students are taking the highest level chemistry class available to sophomores. They're pretty smart. My job is to make them smart, not just apply it, develop that even more. So hopefully we're doing that and a little bit more. Grading practices. LT has changed their grading practices a little bit. Tests are worth 100%. That's true. That's true. The tests are small. They're mini. So it's a chunk of it. It's not as long as you might typically expect. So the tests are per topic, and everything else is just preparing for your test. It's graded on 1 to 3 points. 3 is an A or a B plus. 2 is passing, but not great. And I'm looking for that 3. Or there's a submission issue. 1 is unacceptable for content-wise. And keys are always provided. So a lot of times I will grade the first page, and then I expect them to check the rest of it. This first unit, sorry, we've got some different stuff going on right now with COVID, but the first unit I had some 10-point assignments. They won't be 10 points anymore. They'll all be 3 using this scale. How will this year be different besides the 3 points? The tests are online. Tests are to be done alone. Please have integrity to do that. Please help your students and know that integrity matters. Please know that it will challenge them to learn more, to be better. The tests are timed. Should your student have special time allowances, please help me with a friendly reminder of test approach, and your student can do that too. The approaches will vary by unit. We are taking a team approach for chemistry instruction this year. So one group of teachers did unit 1. I was part of a group that did unit 2, and it bounces around. And clearly we can't send a lot of chemicals home for you guys, so we have virtual labs that do a very nice job of mimicking the lab experience. And the lab analysis, which is where I think the bread is buttered, is just as good. So what does our typical class look like? Well, we join and take attendance. So I will say, Joe Smith here, Sally Jenkins here. Or if they don't hear them, I say, Sally Jenkins is absent, and then move on. And sometimes there's students that don't say here, and then I will say, Sally Jenkins is absent, and Sally Jenkins doesn't talk to me, and I don't notice that she's there later. They need to tell me that, okay? That's when we take attendance. I would ask, I've had some problems with this, when the bell rings, I open up our waiting room and everybody comes in, and then there's some people at AAA. We have 10-minute passing periods in between classes. They can join that waiting room and then walk away and do whatever they want to do. That way they're ready. Okay. So we do a quick preview or review of what we're going to learn or what we've just learned. We will take questions and do problems, teach new information, do problem sets in small groups, or we'll do virtual labs in small groups. I do want kids to write things down, to write notes, to submit things and make PDFs. I show them easy way on how to do it. That's on the Canvas page. How do I know how my child is doing? You can get a Canvas account and see grades. Okay, that's one way. Canvas is the practice, so this just shows if they're keeping up. Okay, so it's not the final grade. Look at your kid's Canvas page for a to-do list. If anything's in that to-do list, it's not done. Okay, once they've submitted it, it's gone. So you can also just get their Canvas password and just kind of sneak in there. That's probably the easiest way. And that to-do list tells you all that. And there's a grades tab that'll tell you that too. Infinite Campus is the official report card grade. It only shows tests, so it'll look pretty skinny. So right now, for example, we have a test in Canvas that has to be imported in Infinite Campus. That's not a 27. How do you contact me or get help? Okay, so contact is bfalli@lths.net, and we'll set up a phone conversation if that's what you like. I don't mind phone calls at all. I think they work pretty well. Students can email me, and I will join students in the Zoom. 7:45 to 8:45 a.m. Tuesday through Friday. There's rare exceptions. There's like 2 days this week where I'm doing it at the curriculum meeting. So I'll be gone then, but that works. And then 2:50 to 3:15, we're there. And that's it. So I'm thrilled your kids are taking chemistry. I'm thrilled they're taking chemistry with me. Trying to give them the best remote learning situation I can. And I want to thank you guys. I live in Indiana. I drive to LT every day, and I'm thankful. We have the chance to come in to work. I come in here to work. This place is awesome. The facilities are awesome. The families are awesome. I really appreciate being here. I try and give back as much as I can. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you have a great time watching the rest of it. Toodles.